Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Late Friday night, Mario Cristobal, the Miami Hurricanes do not sleep on the recruiting trail, landing a very intriguing commitment from unranked offensive tackle Lamar Williams. And you start digging into the film a little bit and you kind of understand why a guy like Lamar Williams is kind of flying under the radar. According to the recruiting services, he needs a lot of polish as an offensive lineman at the college football level. We'll get into the film in a little bit, but I think what's so intriguing about Lamar Williams, why he had offers from Florida State, West Virginia, Mississippi State, the Miami Hurricanes, is because he has the stuff that you can't teach, right? You can get an offensive lineman in, kind of polish them up, teach them how to play at the college football level. What you can't teach is the 6'7" frame, the length that he has in his arms. And I think that's why Alex Mirabal, Mario Cristobal zeroed in on a guy like Lamar Williams that they wanted to take early on in the process, a guy that I think the Hurricanes feel like is going to be a riser in this next 12 months in the recruiting process. And getting him locked up, continuing to bolster the offensive line with a traitsy offensive lineman makes a lot of sense. Want to dive into Lamar Williams, talk about what he brings to the table, watch a little bit of the film before we get into it. Just want to say thank you to you guys and a massive shout out to the Miami Hurricane fans. I mean, this is a program you guys know I love talking on the recruiting trail. The amount of support you guys continue to show to the boys, it means a ton. Cannot thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll continue to keep you guys as updated as possible with what the Miami Hurricanes are doing on the recruiting trail. And without further ado, let's get into Lamar Williams, and a guy that, I mean, when you turn on the film, and we'll do that in just a second, you kind of understand why he's an unranked prospect right now, right? He needs a lot of polish to his game, but a guy that I would go point to as another phenomenal evaluation, kind of a diamond in the rough, if you will, on the offensive line, is a guy like Inez Cooper. Coming in outside the top 1,000 nationally, comes in and is a very quality starter for the Miami Hurricanes. At the end of the day, we're trusting Mario Cristobal, Alex Mirabal, and their evaluations of these offensive linemen. And again, this is a guy that has the stuff you can't teach. You can teach him how to use those feet, how to use those hands, but you can't teach that 6'7" frame with the length that he has. Really excited to kind of track the development of a guy like Lamar Williams. And quite frankly, when we're recapping this Miami Hurricanes class 12 months from now in that 2025 cycle as it closes out, we might be talking about Lamar Williams being a more coveted prospect than he is right now. And I think that's why the Miami Hurricanes jumped on him this early on in the process. Want to get into Lamar Williams' film a little bit, talk to you guys about kind of what I saw in the film. And the first thing is you got to see the feet just move a little bit better, right? You see the frame and you see the athleticism that he has. You just got to get those feet moving a little bit more, kind of catching at the point of attack here. Not going to say that's a hold, but you kind of see him rely on the size in the frame as opposed to the skill of being an offensive lineman, which again, at the high school level is not normal, I should say. You see a lot of offensive linemen kind of do that. But more importantly, I think is a guy that if you can put it together a little bit, get those feet going again, kind of getting beat on the outside shoulder a little bit, that's probably what excites you the most, is this guy has a lot of meat left on the bone in terms of his development. And if you get those feet going, you get him using his hands a little bit better. That's probably what you like the most. And one thing, Rep, you're going to see here is this is a guy, Lamar Williams, who has that mean streak in him. And you're going to see a lot of Mario Cristobal offensive linemen. He wants these kind of players who are wired between the ears this way, who want to put bodies in the turf. And a guy like Lamar Williams, he shows that on the film. So again, a raw prospect with a lot of traits, certainly needs some development. You see, again, getting beat on that outside shoulder a little bit as well, but a guy that's really exciting. Now you take a look at this Miami Hurricanes class in 2025, and I mean, they're just getting started. And what does Mario Cristobal always say? Recruiting is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We talked last weekend about the 50-plus prospects that they hosted for Junior Day last weekend. And you kind of like how this 2025 class has come together. You have a really traitsy offensive lineman in Lamar Williams joining the fold. Elijah Melendez, a guy that I think is going to be a high 4-star at the end of this process. I love his game. He was a guy that Michigan was going after in a meaningful way. That was a massive get. And you get a guy in Luke Nickel who, I mean, for the diehard recruiting fans who follow the 7-on-7 circuit, Luke Nickel went down to Battle Miami last weekend and absolutely lit it up. You talk about a riser in this recruiting process. I think Luke Nichols that guy. And again, you're seeing Mario Cristobal and the staff identify the guys that they think are going to fit this program, are going to rise up the recruiting rankings, and getting on them early in the recruiting process and locking them in. And a guy like Luke Nichols, again, to kind of mark my words here, I feel like when we are talking about the 2025 class and when it's time to sign on the dotted line, Luke Nichols probably going to be a guy that we're talking about as a high 4-star quarterback in that 2025 cycle. Big fan of what Miami is doing early. Again, they're just starting to get going on this trail, right? Starting those relationships. You normally see them close next fall, late summer. Fully expect Mario Cristobal and the Canes to do that once again. Lamar Williams, again, a guy that I was not too familiar with, but a very nice get for the Hurricanes in this 2025 class. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.